I think I had a really great childhood. Growing up as an Asian American in the Midwest was beautiful and challenging at the same time. So I used to joke that I was the only Asian person in my entire county, because that's what it felt like. Often I was the first or only person who looked like me growing up. And I remember not really understanding what it meant to be adopted or being from South Korea until I went to school. And when I was in kindergarten, I remember getting made fun of the first day where a kid pulled back his eyes, and I was like, is that for me? I had no idea. You know, everyone makes mistakes, and at the same time, no one is unscathed. Like, everyone gets made fun of for something. And I think that that is a connection point, because none of us go through life feeling invincible. I think what happened to me in January really changed my life. We did a story on what Americans eat on New Year's Day. Because I had met my birth family, because I've traveled so much to Korea, we've incorporated a lot of Korean culture in our lives. So I eat a Korean soup. It's called tteokguk, which is actually a rice cake soup, and sometimes you put dumplings in it. So literally after that 25-second story, I said, well, I had dumpling soup because that's what a lot of Korean people do. And right away, we had a couple of really nice responses. There was a guy I remember from St. Louis, and his name was Jim, and he reached out and he said, my wife is from Korea. Our daughter is making that soup for the very first time. I'm so glad you mentioned it. But then a couple of hours later, a woman called and left a message saying that I needed to talk about what white people ate, and if white people could talk about what they ate, they would get fired, that I was being very Asian, and I needed to keep my Korean to myself. So I just felt like kind of really sad and overwhelmed that someone would make the effort to call and complain about that. So I shared that voicemail, and it went viral in a way that I could never have imagined. So we started the Very Asian Foundation right here in St. Louis. You know, our goal is to shine a light on Asian experiences through advocacy and celebration. And we had some students in St. Louis who in 2021 created what they called an AAPI book list and tried to get it into the hands of several schools in St. Louis. Unfortunately, the schools did not respond. And so when Very Asian went viral, they came to me and said, do you think that you could help us? And not only were we able to give the list to several libraries, the state of Missouri was 100% on board with it. We were also able to get some corporate sponsorships to say, hey, I will get these books to at-need libraries. After all of that, I did a commentary and said, you know, I feel like we should all be able to bring our full selves to our spaces. And the caller called back. She apologized, and I accepted. I feel like when we say we're very Asian, we're flipping the words, but what we're really fighting for is being very American. This whole Very Asian movement has helped me grow in so many ways because I feel like it was so wonderful for people to make space for me, and I always want to make space for other people.